Hey everybody, so we are in a 2-hour stairwell and this is a 90-minute fire door. Recently I was asked about how to measure the gap for a fire door, and I really wanted to share the why behind this, why this gap is so important. So we're going to talk about that, but before we do, let's talk about the codes that we're going to be referencing and what they say. We are referencing NFPA 80, the 2010 edition. NFPA 80 is our fire door code. It also covers fire dampers and shutters and a few other things. But we're using the 2010 edition because NFPA 101, our life safety code, CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, references or has adopted the 2012 edition of NFPA 101. And it references NFPA 80 2010. So the gap on a fire door, specifically NFPA 80 says in 6317, that's where it talks about clearances, 6317, that the gap around the fire door has to be 1/8 of an inch for wood doors, for a single door, and where it meets in the middle, if you have double doors. And for metal doors, it is plus or minus 1/16 of an inch of that 1/8 inch, so 1/16 to 3/16 inch. And that's very important of the why, so we're going to come back to that. And then it also says that you have to measure the gap on the pull side of the door, which is the side you actually pull the door from. There's a reason for that too. So before we dig into that, you're going to need a tool. I have my little handy dandy ASHE door gap measuring tool here. You can get one from ASHE, and it has all different kinds of sizes on it. This door, I've already measured it, is 1/16 of an inch. So back to why this is important. This gap here, how doors work, how these tests are performed, the actual fire door testing to make sure that it meets 90 minutes and all of this. Part of this test is how much is the door warping, how is it twisting and turning. Metal doors tend to warp and twist and turn whenever they are superheated. Just like all metal does, right? So that is part of the criteria here, especially of why this is important. Code also says there's requirements for the latch itself. The latch has to engage for most hardware 1/2 of an inch into its actual strike, right? So what happens if you've got a superheated metal door and you've got too large of a gap, is that you are increasing the possibility and the risk associated with this door twisting and it unlatching, making the entire fire door useless, right? So the whole point of the door is to stay closed in the event of a fire. And this is a big part of why that gap is so important. Most of the time what we see is that the gap is too large, not too small. Sometimes it's the opposite, right? But it does work both ways, right? So we want to make sure that that door can close on its own and that it is fully latched and secure. And that's really where the whole gap portion comes from. So again, measure it on all sides of the door, tops and the sides here, and it has to be 1/8 of an inch for wood doors and plus or minus 1/16 for metal doors. Same thing in the middle of the double doors when they meet. So that's really where the gap comes from and the why behind it. So until next time, happy learning.